Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me in today's video. So today I'm going to be sitting down to do a YouTube Q&A. This is my first ever one. I figured, it was that time of the year where it was about time to do a Q&A, and yeah, why not do a YouTube Q&A? I haven't done one of these before. Have you guys asked me the questions and me just answer it and all that good stuff. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first question is, why did you start YouTube? So I discovered YouTube when I was, how old was I though? I think I was 15 or 16. I started watching Jaclyn Hill in like 2012. But I knew of Amanda Ensing like I think a couple of years before that. So I had been watching YouTube for a good couple of years, and for some reason I gravitated towards wanting to be on that platform, especially once I had finished high school. I knew I was gonna study, so I felt like maybe YouTube would be a really good hobby because I was moving to a different province. I was moving from KZN to Gauteng, and I knew that I wanted a hobby, and for some reason YouTube just popped up in my mind, and I started YouTube 3 months after I moved up to Joburg, 2 or 3 months after I moved up to Joburg, and the rest is history. But I basically started, sentimental wise, I started because I knew that my confidence levels were so low, and I was honestly such an introvert back then that I felt like being on a platform and having possibly hundreds of people judge me or watch me is very daunting. So I would rather have that than be in a room of 100 people. Obviously now I can be in a room of 100 people. It still stresses me out, but I was very introverted as well. So that's also one of the reasons why I started YouTube. What keeps you motivated to continue creating content and making videos? I have to admit, from the time I started YouTube, it was never an option for me to quit. It was never an option for me to stop doing it. There was never a day where I woke up and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. There were times where I was demotivated to create content, but it was never a thing of, oh, I'm just never gonna do it ever again, But I enjoy it, and that is what keeps me motivated to continue creating content and making videos. And I love working with brands and seeing the new amazing products they create, and products is really what draws me. I have a passion for makeup products, and I think that's what keeps me motivated, is having to play with products all the time, learn different techniques, have my skin look amazing with all these new makeup products, and that's what keeps me motivated, to be honest. What are the basic equipment and things you need to start YouTube? If you're starting YouTube just for fun, I would say whatever you have available to you, use that, like your phone, your laptop, edit on your phone. I know so many people who still edit on their phones because they don't have laptops and stuff like that, and their content is bomb, A1. But I would say if you want to make it a career, you really have to invest in your cameras, in your lightings, all of that stuff. But I also will say that you just never know where this career is going to take you. So I would suggest starting off slow and steady. I would say start off with a good quality phone and then move your way up, and that's the best advice I could give that is feasible, because obviously as your views start and as your follower count starts growing, as brands start approaching you, you should obviously invest more in your brand. So I would say up your equipment as soon as you start getting more attention, because I know a lot of people will feel like they invested so much, and they bought ring lights and softboxes and everything, and then they just end up using natural light, which natural light is amazing. So yeah, start off small and then work your way up, because I find that if you also just buy everything at once, you realize that you wasted money, and yeah, it's not a good idea to put yourself in a bad financial position. So I would say work your way up, because that's definitely what I did. I am on my second Canon camera. I actually own 3 Canon cameras, which took a lot of blood, sweat and tears to save up for, but it is worth it. And I realized that through my 5 years of being on YouTube, I realized what I wanted and what I needed from a camera, and that is what I have in my equipment right now. And I've never bought soft boxes, but when the time comes where I feel like I definitely need soft boxes, I will buy them. But right now I'm pretty good with just my ring light and natural lighting, and I also have my vanity lighting. Next is not exactly a YouTube question, but how does it feel to be famous? I am not famous. I'm not famous. I know a lot of people will think I am, but I'm not. For me, famous is not something that I inspire to be, if that makes sense. When I think of all of the things and the vision for myself, fame is not one of them. So I'm definitely not famous, and even if I was, that probably wouldn't be my goal in life, you know? But thank you for thinking I'm famous. I'm honestly not. And one more, does your family know the kind of influence you have with 1 million views? Whew. That is a really interesting question. I don't think so. You know, my family I'm like the baby in the family, you know, the latlamaki, apart from my niece and nephew, of course. But my brother and sister have traditional jobs. You know, my dad basically had a traditional job, so I don't think they understand the impact of the digital marketing era that we're in right now. But I think they do realize that I do have a really, really good following, because there have been times where I've been out with my siblings, and there's actually been a few times where people have like stopped my niece and nephew and asked them if they were my niece and nephew, and I was like, and I wasn't actually with them. So the fact that people actually recognize my family members, or even when I'm with my family and people stop me, my family members are always like smiling. So I think like they really, maybe they enjoy the attention, I don't know, but they haven't said enough to me to be like, oh, here's what we think. But you know, I don't know what more I could say about that, but I don't think they do know the influence. And I also don't think that 1 million views is enough to describe anything, because it is people all around the world that have watched my videos, whether they liked it or not. I think if it was 1 million views in South Africa, that would mean a lot to me. But you know, South Africa is still pretty new in the whole YouTube space, and there are so many YouTubers doing so well within the South African space as well. So I hope to get there one day. Like, that is my aim. I know, like, I'm just a small baby in the big ocean, so I still have a lot more growing to do. I hope that answers your question. How did you find video ideas in the beginning? I'm having a hard time staying motivated. So in the beginning, I actually just started creating content. This was like years ago, like in 2014. So people would genuinely like message me and be like, hey, I'm looking for a makeup look to go with this outfit. What would you suggest? And that is what I would film for my YouTube channel. Sometimes it would be like my everyday routine. Sometimes it would be things that I saw that were trending. So whatever I felt like content wise I wanted to post, that's what I posted, because the space was so small back then. Especially in South Africa, you really had to cater to the South African market in a sense. But then also the South African market weren't choosers, you know, because the space was so small. So I just posted whatever I wanted to post, and as I've grown throughout the years, I realized that you have to post certain things at certain times. When there's something trending, it is best to film it and post it within that time frame, because it's more likely that your video will do the best at that point in time. But obviously, whatever you do, you need to have substance behind it. You know, you need to want to do it. If you don't enjoy doing something, people will pick up that you don't enjoy doing it, you know. So always be authentic to you and do what you enjoy at the end of the day. I feel like when it's content you enjoy, it's hard not to be demotivated. It's hard not to be motivated. Yeah. Any advice for someone wanting to start YouTube but don't have the confidence? Just start. I 100% did not have the confidence when I started YouTube. You will see from like my first video till now, I'm a lot more comfortable in front of the camera. Before I would be like shy to talk to myself, and I'd wait till I was home alone to make videos. But now I'm like, if my family is around and I need to film a video, I need to film a video. Like, it is what it is, you know. So I'm a lot more confident now, and I think that definitely took a lot of years of me being on YouTube, talking to myself, talking to the camera. So I would definitely 100% say that being on YouTube has actually made me more confident. I still do have insecurities as a human being, but if you want to start YouTube, just start. I know everybody says if you want to start, just start, but honestly, once you upload that first video, I promise you, once you upload that it's that first video that takes all the energy and all the overthinking and all that stuff. Just start, just do it, and be consistent. Best camera to start off with for YouTube. So I would say you would need to get an affordable camera. Like I said in the beginning, like if you want to really be serious about this career, then I would highly suggest that you invest. But like I said, start off small and then go large. And the Canon 200D is really affordable, and there's so many different bundles you guys can get depending on your budget. So I highly recommend the 200D. I'm actually using it right now, but I started YouTube on my Canon Ligria camcorder HR606, and that worked well as well. That served me for like 2 years before actually 3 years before I upgraded to this 200D. So yeah. How did you learn to set up your camera in terms of setting the iOS, etc.? So I use automatic settings on my camera. I don't change the iOS or anything of that sort. I just use the automatic settings, and one day when I grow up, I will figure out the iOS and all that other stuff. I've tried and I just don't think I'm good at it. I think like the automatic settings work really well, so I'm just using that for now, but eventually I will figure it out. How do you edit your videos? So I use Wondershare Filmora. Somebody also asked, how did you learn to edit your videos? It took a lot of trial and error. I used to use my laptop, so I used to film like all these mock videos on my laptop at the time, and the camera wasn't that great, so the quality wasn't that great either. And I used to use Windows Movie Maker to edit the videos. So I would say the best way, I'm a very practical person, so if I see that someone's video is edited in a certain way, I'll try it for myself and see how it goes. And that's basically what I did to teach myself how to edit. And I'm not gonna lie, I will say there's definitely room for improvement when it comes to my editing, because I don't like editing that much, and I know a lot of people will actually say that they don't enjoy editing as well. But yeah, there's so much of room for improvement. I definitely feel like I want to up my game in terms of the editing software that I want to use and all that stuff, but obviously those things come with operating systems and all that stuff. Like, I would, in a perfect world, really want to use Final Cut Pro, but that only works on an operating system called Mac OS, and I just cannot afford anything Mac right now, not even a cellular. Okay, maybe I could afford a cellular phone, right? But I cannot afford a MacBook or MacBook Pro or anything of that sort. But hopefully one day I will, and then my editing game will get taken to the next level. But Wondershare Filmora is what I use right now, and that is it's a pretty easy user interface, and I've tried so many other editing softwares, but I keep going back to Wondershare Filmora. What is the biggest challenge when it comes to editing? Finding your style of editing, because like you will gravitate towards so many different styles, but figuring out how to execute it is another story. Like, I wish I could have those pop-up screens where like the product info is on the screen and all that stuff, but like I said, upgraded operating systems, upgrading your software, all that stuff. but you can still do a lot on the basic software that you have. So I just have to be selective, and I've gone through stages in the whole entire editing process, which I'm sure you guys have seen, but that's the biggest challenge, is finding your editing style. For someone starting to vlog, which camera and other tools would you recommend? So it depends. It honestly depends. I didn't buy a tripod up until much later in my YouTube career. I would say the G7X, the Canon Mark II G7X is a really, really good investment, even if you want to get the Mark III, but obviously do your research. For vlogging, that is a really, really good camera for vlogging purposes. Vlogging where you're walking around, you're doing stuff, you're active. Whereas if you're sitting down like this, filming makeup tutorials, doing Q&As, all that stuff, then a DSLR works really, really well. A DSLR is also a little bit more bulky, so you can have it on a tripod, all that stuff. So the camera depends on what exactly you're aiming to do on your channel. And of course, you need a tripod. And I would say use natural lighting. Use natural lighting when you begin, and then obviously expand. I'm very big on starting off minimally and then working your way up, because as you start getting into filming YouTube videos, you realize what you need, and that is when you can start making the investments. Which camera would be the best for first-time content creators? If you're looking at a DSLR, I would say the Canon 200D. Can anyone request for PR packages for makeup brands? I don't think just anyone can request for PR for makeup brands. I think you actually have to be an active content creator, and you have to have a good amount of following. I don't think brands just send their press drops to just anyone and everyone. Like, if you add value to them as a brand, then they will send you the products. So I hope that makes sense. How did you start receiving PR packages? Does one have to be an influencer? Again, yes, you do. PR packages are not for the general public. They are for influencers, because we will talk about them if we like them, and it's basically marketing for brands. So if you can bring something to the table when it comes to being an influencer, then you get PR. I actually started getting PR. Whoa, I think it was I don't actually remember when I started getting PR, because I think I would get PR in little batches, but it would be like a once or twice a year thing. And then once I started getting more consistent, especially in 2017, I started getting a little bit more PR. Last year I got a little bit more than the last year, and this year I definitely have gotten way, way more PR. But I want you guys to understand, because I think a lot of people feel like getting free things is amazing, but at the end of the day, that's not why I do what I do. I'm not sitting here in front of you guys having this conversation right now, or I don't create content because I want free things. I create content because it's what I enjoy, and free things at the end of the day is just a perk, because PR doesn't come every month. PR is not something that you should be doing this job for. You shouldn't be doing anything for free things. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. Somebody else asked, can you do another mukbang soon? I will do another mukbang soon. I just have been on a diet and eating really healthy, so I haven't been ordering McDonald's or KFC, but I will hopefully soon. If you weren't a dermatologist or makeup artist, what would you be? I definitely would be a dermatologist. I'm just very passionate about skin. And sometimes it frustrates me because I don't know enough about skin when people ask me about special conditions, and I can't answer them because I don't have all the answers. If I was a dermatologist, I probably would have all the answers. But yeah, I probably would be a dermatologist. And I probably would have a skincare range to go with my dermatology situation. What made you decide to finally post your first video, and what was the reaction you received? Back then, when I posted my first video, it wasn't like I said, YouTube was not popular. It wasn't a saturated industry. Everybody was just starting out. So it was still a very new concept for everyone. Even though for the Americans, it was like a concept that was already there. My family was very supportive from the beginning. I was studying and I was using this as my hobby, so they didn't really have any issues because I was studying as well. And I knew I wouldn't leave the house much, so I definitely needed something to keep me occupied. And so my family they were supportive. There were no issues. And the people that followed me from Pietermaritzburg, especially my hometown, they enjoyed the videos and I got quite a good feedback from them. And yeah, that's pretty much all I remember. But what made me finally decide to post is that I saw so many perfect people on the platform, which is YouTube. So many people who didn't have skin issues, so many people who had the perfect skin, and I was far from that. And I wanted whoever was watching me, I wanted them to know that there are people out there that are imperfect. We don't always have perfect skin. We have breakouts and we are allowed to be human. And so I just wanted people who were suffering with the same issues that I was with to take solace in the fact that they weren't alone. And that's definitely one of the motivating factors with regards to why I started, is because there was nobody that was like me on the platform, that had as bad acne as me on the platform. And only Cassandra Bankson was the one person that I found, and I thought that I could really add something to the community by showing my bare face every once in a while. Do you see yourself being an influencer for life? If not, what would be your next step? An influencer for life? I'm still kind of even getting used to being an influencer now. I think I will always influence, no matter where I am, no matter where life takes me, no matter what journey I'm on, no matter what path in life I'm on. You guys get the gist. But I definitely feel like I will always be a person of influence, to influence people to, buy the right things, or buy things that look good, or whatever the case maybe is. But at the end of the day, I think I definitely see myself as a makeup artist for life. I think I am very excited to see makeup evolution, because from the time I started till now, it has changed. My makeup game has changed, and I can't wait to see and learn more. And there's always room for improvement. So I'm really excited to be on that journey. And yeah, I think the next step in life would be to start a sustainable business. So yeah. What inspired you to start? How did you gain confidence to be in front of the camera? I didn't have confidence in front of the camera. And one changing point, because from the time I had finished matric, I knew my entire matric year I was going to start YouTube. Once I finished matric, I knew that I was going to start YouTube. And so I had this really high spec laptop that was my brother's, and he allowed me to film on it. And I edited my videos on that, and the quality was really decent. Now, I started my course in somatology, and one of the lecturers actually said something to me that made me get my butt into gear. She said, if you are shy, if you don't have confidence, then this is not the course for you. And I thought really long and hard, and I was like, but this is the course for me. This is what I'm passionate about. And so I was like, okay, I don't have any confidence. I need to get confidence. And maybe one of the things that will help me get confidence is if I start my YouTube channel. The idea of having 100 people or hundreds of people watch your video and possibly judge you, it could go either way. They either support you, or they judge you, or they make fun of you, whatever the case may be. There is so many possibilities that it's scary. And once you upload that first video, that fear almost instantly went away. I was like, okay, I don't know who's watching, but whoever's watching, I hope you enjoy. And so I slowly built my confidence over time, and that is how I'm here today. I wasn't always this confident. I was actually so much of an introvert. I'm still very introverted these days. I have social anxiety, like you guys can't even believe. I know, coming from me, it's like, what? Social anxiety? Girl, no. Trust me, I have social anxiety. It is bad. But yeah. I will say though, being on TV, live TV, versus being on YouTube is two different things. But, you know, when you're confident in yourself and you are confident outside of being in front of the camera, or when you're not in front of the camera, it makes it so much easier and you're so much more comfortable. So if you live your authentic self, you'll never go wrong. How long did it take to reach 100 followers? I have no idea. I think it took like the whole year when I first started to reach 100 subscribers. On Instagram though, the growth was just ridiculous. I don't even actually remember how long it took me to get to 100 followers. I don't even remember. It's crazy. But I think I started my Instagram and my YouTube at around the same time. So my YouTube and Instagram has always been on par with each other. Sometimes YouTube is way higher, sometimes Instagram is way higher, or one of the numbers is lower, but usually they're always on par. Like right now, they are on par. Also, what was the change that helped increase your YouTube subscriptions? To be honest, I don't actually know. I think if there's one thing I can pinpoint on, it's definitely the quality of content that I've been putting out. That's the one thing I can like pinpoint on. But when it comes to anything else, I don't think there's anything else I've changed over the last couple of years. Maybe like my techniques have changed and all that stuff. But other than that, I can say my content and my quality of content has definitely changed the game for me. What inspired you to become a YouTuber and what keeps you motivated to expand? I think I already covered this question, but what keeps me motivated to expand is definitely the fact that I see so many people like living their dreams being on YouTube. I want to do that. I have so many dreams for myself and I really enjoy working from home. I'm not somebody who's a corporate body. I cannot do corporate. I cannot sit in an office and work and be quiet and all that stuff. I need like human interaction, even if it's not a lot. But for me, just being able to work from home, and if there's an emergency, being able to take care of my niece and nephew, if their parents have to go somewhere or if there's no one to take care of them, that is what I personally enjoy. And one day, you know, when I eventually have kids, I really do want to be there for my kids, and I want to be able to say that I was actively in my kids' lives and be able to raise them and not have to worry about the stresses of having to find a nanny and all that stuff. So for me, wanting to expand on this platform is me just basically wanting to be my own boss, in simple terms. Me taking charge of my own time, being in charge of how much of money I make. Because I've been in situations where I was working in retail. I was working at I've been in retail, I've been in the salon, and it's not the kind of environments I want to be in. I feel like you spend so much of time working your butt off, and when you look at that payslip at the end of the month, it just does not correlate. The amount of hard work you do versus what you get paid is just ridiculous. And now I'm not working my butt off. I'm working smart, not hard. I still do put a lot of hard work into what I do and what I love, but I'm a lot more smart about it. So that, I would say, is a big thing for me and what keeps me motivated to expand. You know, at the end of the day, money does not motivate me to do anything in life. It's about the sentimentality of it. It's what I'm able to do for myself, for my family, with the circumstances that I have put myself in. So yes, money makes the world go round. Money is a wonderful thing to have, But at the end of the day, money doesn't make me happy. Doing this, creating content, makes me happy. And that is why my passion and my motivation to keep expanding does not end, because I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this because I love interacting with you guys. I love the family that I built on this platform. And money can always be made in any way, shape, or form. But building a community and building a family of loyal people is something completely mind-blowing. So that is it for this video. That is all the questions that I have right now. And yeah, I asked this question earlier on today, about 9 hours ago. So hopefully I have gotten as many questions in as possible. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for all the questions, for everyone who sent their questions through. I love you so much, each and every one of you. Thank you for being a part of my slay squad. Don't forget to stay all day, every day with and without makeup, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.